timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth! 13! 13! Can you believe it?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Locker Room Podcast. I'm your host, Oliver. As always, joined by the big fella, again, Lachie.
What's going on, mate?
Not too much, just working hard. We still haven't got our setup done, but it's coming.
This weekend.
This weekend
is going to be the weekend.
We are actually all home, so we're going to do a massive clean out. Not because we have to or anything, but...
No, not at all.
Yeah. I got my new Liverpool kit. Probably bad timing the way we're playing.
Correct.
But we're not here for soccer. We're here for NFL.
True, but on that note, though, did you see that free kick that drew with Palace today?
That was a peach of a free kick.
Oh, my
I was talking to my
God,
mate at work, and he was so sad. He's in
90th minute, absolute banger.
De Gea couldn't do a single. Any goalkeeper couldn't
not
do
a chance. Nah.
While we're at the start, Spotify, YouTube, share it on Twitter. Also, we're starting to do a ladder thing with betting. So we were starting with 25, but I think that's too much. So we might just go to 10. Then hopefully win go to 20, and then 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 160, and then so on. See if we can get to like 500, or it's usually called 10K in 10 days, but I don't know if we'll do that much. But if you want to join Lachie, you can as well. Right now, it's just me and Sam in the Locker Room Sports Bet group.
Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're putting bets on in our other sports bet group without telling us, you dog.
No, we've got no money in that group. We're poor.
No, true.
All right, so on to the NFL, because it was a big weekend of wildcard football. They were all relatively close, but we'll get the more boring game out of the way, and that's the 49ers versus Seahawks, which was close in the first half. Obviously, Seahawks went in at halftime up due to a stupid decision by, I think it was Ward for the 49ers, giving away a roughing the passer. I know you probably didn't have much time to watch this because you were at your wedding or recovering from your wedding.
Recovering. Definitely recovering.
But the 49ers, they did get a few turnovers on the defense, but Brock Purdy,
mate,
I think he is making it really hard for them right now to not start next season.
Yeah, 100%. And like, obviously, both of us listened to Pat, the man McAfee, and they had a good conversation about it. I was listening to, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I was listening to it, and because obviously there's rumors about Tom Brady and where he's going and all the buzz around him, but it's like Brock Purdy, you've got obviously, you've got Trey Lance
and Jimmy Garoppolo behind him.
And Jimmy. Well, there's obviously talk of Brady going there because hometown, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they're like, this guy is making it hard for any of them right now. Like, he came out a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
Missed a few throws early, but then after that, like, he was absolutely lights out. 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions again. It's if he keeps playing like that, they're going to be like, that was the one sort of area where I was like, oh, there might be a bit suspect because he's obviously third string quarterback. But if he keeps playing like this, then they can seriously go all the way. No doubt about it.
And that's the thing. I think it's the way that he started off slow, and then he
came back.
He started off slow, but he doesn't turn the ball over. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen him throw many interceptions. He doesn't throw dangerous throws. And with an offense like that, you don't really need to. But you had Trey Lance early on that was doing that.
Yeah, and you still had McCaffrey run for 119. Like, Deebo Samuel pops up there for three carries and 32 yards. Like, that's just insane. And then obviously Deebo had 33 yards receiving. Like, they're just absolutely stacked. And then they got Bosa on the defensive end, absolutely wreaking havoc.
He's a stud.
So it's going to be very, very, very interesting this week.
And that's the thing. If he has a bad game, like the team, it sounds like the team actually loves it. Like they love him a lot, not a lot more than the others, but like they get around him. Like when Trey Lance was starting, you didn't really hear that much.
Nah.
But now,
Mate, he's still living with roommates.
yeah,
He's still got roommates, which is an NFL player that's got roommates. That is just unheard. Like, that's cracked.
He's a likable character. That's what he is.
Yeah, 100%.
And this might be a hot take. It might not be anymore.
Probably.
But I think even though they traded away all their assets for Trey Lance, I think you're better off trading Trey Lance and keeping Jimmy G and Brock Purdy next season. Because
you can't have Purdy and Trey Lance. You got to go one or the other.
Yeah, because you can build Brock Purdy up and you can have Jimmy G as your veteran, who's a good veteran to have. Or you could even start Jimmy G, whatever you want to do. But I feel like those two fit they're better system quarterbacks than Trey Lance for the 49ers. I feel like that's what the 49ers need rather than I don't really call it a playmaker.
Because that's the thing. They've got enough weapons like with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel that are dynamic players. You don't I guess you can never have too many dynamic players, but what's Trey Lance going to come in and do? Like McCaffrey and Deebo can't do, apart from throw the ball.
He's just more running for a quarterback, but like you don't need that. Why do you need that if you got two quarterbacks that can drop it in a bucket and
legit
their targets? But whether that's a hot take or not, I'm not too sure. Maybe that's calmed down a little bit now and people are starting to see that
it'll be interesting. It's obviously still very early days. Like he's only had a few games, but he hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah. And it was the end of the Seahawks season. Thankfully, because I don't think they were going to do anything if they made it any further.
They weren't, but geez, hats off to them because they were very, very, very good.
It was good to see Geno Smith actually be successful, more successful than Russell Wilson obviously has been.
That's hilarious.
And I'll just shout out to Kenneth Walker, the rookie for Seattle, who helped me win the Super Bowl in fantasy, which I didn't mention last week. I won my first season.
Beginner's luck as always. Fucking life.
We're going to probably the biggest game of the weekend, and it's the Chargers Jaguars. The reason you got the GOAT behind you. Now,
love this man.
You could always. I feel like wording it as that interviewer said to Westbrook one time. Did the Chargers lose the game, or did the Jaguars win the game?
Chargers lost it.
It's such a stupid way to question stuff. But,
I know, but they seriously did it. Have you seen a video of the Chargers fan that fell asleep?
Oh,
and woke up.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, his mate woke him up, and he's just laying there looking at the TV like, the fuck just happened? Could you imagine, if you're, say you're watching Richmond in AFL and you're like 10 goals up or 10 goals up at 3/4 time and you wake back up and they're fucking lost. Could you imagine that? It's literally that's essentially what that is, just
in a final. And what I find interesting, I said for my tip last week that I think the Chargers offense could blow them out of the water at some stage and go up, win. What was my tip again? I think you said Jags.
Thank you.
In a close one. So that's what I found interesting. That I said that they could blow them out by 2 or more.
Oh, they could.
And they were that close. They were. And then the comeback in yours has got up. So
we're both essentially right.
And I did tweet out after he threw his 4th interception or his 3rd one in the first quarter. I'm like, it's not it looks shit. I just tweeted out, it's about how he responds now. And then I just quote retweeted after the game. I think you responded pretty well.
Yeah.
But
I think you'd be right there.
It's still hard to believe. Like we discussed last week, Etienne played a big role in it, bloody 109 rushing yards on 20 carries. Yeah. And when I was watching that first half, it just never looked like the Jaguars offense was going to get going because the Chargers relatively have a good defense.
Yep.
And obviously what's come out with Bosa there, the long-haired Bosa, I can't remember which one it is. Nick? Is it Nick Bosa? Yeah.
Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa's on the 49ers, yeah.
I think that it's a bit, from what he was saying, you kind of saw it, one of their linemen was always lining up a little bit offside, and Nick Bosa was getting held a lot. Yeah. But what I found interesting is that whole scenario when the referees, he's heading off the field and he said something towards the referee, but he's not like in his face or saying it to his face or anything. And then the referee runs up to him and is like, "What did you say?" And then whether he said it again, I don't know. But to throw,
it's like the refs are untouchable, but the players are.
Yeah, and to give a 15-yard advantage to the other team in a game like that is pretty ridiculous. And like obviously Bosa and Herbert are going to cop a lot of flack, and Staley. But I mean, their field goal kicker did miss a field goal as well. It wasn't a big, like at the time, it wasn't a huge miss, but
wasn't as bad as Dallas's kicker, which we'll probably get to later.
Yeah, I feel bad for that.
Fucking hell.
But
that's like Hicksy shout out to the man kicking out a fullback against Benalla and fucking hitting Benalla 8 times. That's as bad as that, missing targets. Like, Jesus.
Sounds like something I'd do if I was given the job to kick out.
No, your job's just to handball.
Yeah, and punch the ball.
And punch. Yep. But it was interesting though. Because like obviously there's a lot of talk about the Chargers' next head coach, I believe.
Yeah.
And what they're, because like you've got a team that's this stacked, and you blow a lead like that, and you're out in the first round of the playoffs. Like there's going to be a lot of people going for it. I don't think from what Rap Sheet is saying is Sean Payton's not going to be going there.
Just because they can't afford him.
Yeah, probably, but sounds like he's either going to Denver. Who was it? Denver or who's the other one? Denver.
Cardinals.
Carolina. I'm pretty sure.
He's had an interview with the Texans as well.
Yeah.
And he's previously really liked Kyler Murray in like the draft prospects that they did. So whether the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I hope he comes to Carolina, obviously, but
apparently Staley might keep his job though as a head coach.
It's a bit up in the air
because they've already fired the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach, which I think is fair. If you they did score 30 points to be fair, but the way that their offense just halted in that second half,
just stopped.
Yeah, and you got all those.
You score 27 points in the first half and score 3 in the second.
Yeah,
like what the fuck.
and they didn't have Mike Williams, which is a big out, obviously, but I don't think that's an excuse. Like, Justin Herbert looked like he was going to throw 350 yards in the first half, but then just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, and Austin Eckler had 13 carries for 35 yards. Like that's not good enough at all. After the season he's had.
Yeah.
Doesn't help Herbert, that's for sure.
It's a disappointing start as well, and I think now that Herbert's off his rookie contract now, so they're going to have to pay him. And they've obviously got other players that they're going to have to pay, so it's going to be interesting to see what the turnaround's like there. I think that would be a pretty good fit with Sean Payton, though, if they could somehow get
100%.
him.
Oh, mate. In terms of an offensive mind, he is absolutely phenomenal.
With Justin Herbert and those, that offense would be ridiculous.
And Gerald Everett as well. Keenan Allen obviously had an interrupted start of the year because he was out for most of the start of the year. So, if they can all stay healthy, it's more the defensive end, like giving up 31 points and, like 24 of them being in the last half, like that's not good enough at all.
Yeah. We'll touch on this next game just quickly because we won't go into much about this because I think everyone expected the Bills to beat the Dolphins. But the way that
it was a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be, especially with a third-string quarterback again.
That's why, and he showed moments, but like he just never really had a grasp on the game. By the looks, you could tell, like with Brock Purdy, you can't tell he's a third-string quarterback. You could really tell that Skylar Thompson, I'm pretty sure his name was a third-string quarterback. But in saying that, they kept themselves in it and they had a chance. It was just poor clock management towards the end of the game.
Correct.
That cost them the game. But like, obviously a division game is probably a lot harder because you're used to seeing the same team. But I was just amazed at how close, like, McDaniels
still was.
Yeah, and McDaniels coached a really good game. Like their defense was all over them. for most of the game.
Yeah.
But I guess, do you think if Tua was playing, there's a different outcome there, or do you think?
Fucking oath.
Yeah.
Different outcome, but obviously the Bills would prepare differently as well.
Yeah.
So you can't really weigh into that too much because the Bills defensively would obviously prepare a little bit differently to what they would have for this game.
Yeah.
But it would have obviously been very hard for McDaniel too, because you've got a third string quarterback coming in. You don't know what he's capable. You don't really know what he's capable of in terms of what plays you can call and everything like that as well. So it would have been a bloody hard game. So they did really, really, really well. But like I heard Pat McAfee and the boys talking about how if Josh Allen like throws 2 picks against, say, the Chiefs coming up,
yeah,
like they're going to make you pay for throwing 2 picks like that. Like you got to be a lot tighter than that. And some of the throws they were saying, because he's just that good, they're like throws that not everyone should even think to throw, but that because he's that good, he's like, yeah, I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
He's just that good.
And then if it does come off, he looks fucking insane. If it doesn't come off, then he
Looks
doesn't
like
get judged
a bit
as
stupid.
much. Yeah, but no, I think whether Tua's playing next year, we don't know what's going on with his concussions and stuff. But I think if he's not playing or they're uncertain about him, if they got, whether a Brady went there, I hope he doesn't, but whether a Brady or
there's not really any talk of him going there.
Or
it's more around like San Fran, staying at Tampa, or going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of talk around Miami, but he is closer to his family if he goes to Miami.
The only thing that was mentioned, that this was a while ago, that Tom Brady and Sean Payton both had plans to get some sort of ownership in Miami and to play and coach there. So I think that was the end of last year. There was heavy reports about that, but obviously with that coach before having those legal actions, I can't remember what happened there with the Dolphins coach, but they got fired a couple of years ago. I can't remember his name. I think it was at the Patriots at some stage. But anyway, I think even if Derek Carr went there, like Carr's not a bad quarterback. And if he...
Yeah, I just don't know about him, mate. Like, he's got that much talent. He's just, I don't know. I really don't. But I think he was sort of set up to fail this year because they didn't really have anybody else apart from, obviously, Devontae Adams to do anything. And Josh Jacobs is an absolute jet. But, the Raiders organization's just been fucked for the last... Yeah, as long as I've been following NFL.
And they're probably in the hardest division, which is why I don't understand if Brady would want to go there. I get he wants.
I remember at the start of the year, I was talking about massively. I thought they were going to finish and make the divisional round, but not anymore.
But like even just watching the Dolphins play, like even the passes that Skylar Thompson missed, they would show replays and just the plays that McDaniel's probably drawn up himself, and it gets like their star players wide open. It was just the quarterback not seeing it. It was it was a good to watch, even though they didn't win. But we spent too long on that game because we all kind of expected it.
We weren't planning on it.
Now this game, I think we both picked the winners and happily did. The Giants versus the Vikings. The Vikings.
I'm so happy with this.
The Vikings just always disappointing, but I'll let you go.
Minnesota just disappoint. Minnesota as a city just disappoint. I just can't believe it. But I tell you what, the Giants are actually. They are actually good, genuinely good. Like Saquon Barkley, like his first touchdown, his first couple of runs. Like my God, he is for him being that big, he should not be able to move like that at all. Like if I could move like that, I'd be like I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
He's a man now, that bloke.
Oh, he's huge, but still, like Daniel Jones still led them in rushing.
Yeah, he had a real game.
301 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, 24-35, then ran for 78 yards. Like, what more does a man got to do?
He's playing like the best quarterback in that conference right now.
Almost in the league at the minute of all the quarterbacks left. Dak had a really good game on the weekend. Like, Dallas absolutely rolling, which we'll get to. But, Yeah, Kirk Cousins still had a good game, but like that
And-
last throw that he had when he was like, what was it, 4th and 10 or something, I think, and he throws his little check down. Like, mate, game's on the line. You've got like under 2 minutes left, and you throw that. Like, fucking do something with it, you coward. Like, actually do something. I've just never rated. He's always been like good regular season player, and then come the playoffs, it's just like, yeah, fucking good on you. He's had one good throw, which fucking, who was it? Was it Diggs? Who was Justin Jefferson? It was Justin Jefferson that made that Marshall and Lattimore look like an absolute goose. Like, that's the best part. That's the best play of his career. Like, and what have you done since then?
But no, back to that, like even back to that Barkley one where I think it was one of his touchdowns where he's just basically carried like 9 people.
Oh,
and he's just pushed with his little legs. Well, I'll say little, they're probably fucking massive. But like
5 times the size of yours, my friend.
He looks stumpy. Like he looks like he's little, and
he looks
just
like he he looks like a meatball.
I don't know how he does it, but like
he looks like a Brad Civarella.
I know I go for the Patriots, and I shouldn't like the Giants just because of what Eli Manning did to us. But
yeah, helmet catch
with this kind, with this kind of Giants team, I find it hard not to like them. Like even the coach Gable and
100%,
such a likable team, and I hope they go far.
Yeah, literally.
But even if they lose next week, winning 1 game's, I think, a pretty big positive for them.
Oh, absolutely. The confidence they'll take into next year is unbelievable. And everybody loves the coach. Absolutely loves him. And like, that's the hardest thing. You got to love your coach. Otherwise you don't want to play for him. And
even the whole fan base seems like they love him.
Yeah. So absolutely.
I think they've got a good one there. We'll move on to one of the last games now. Bengals versus Ravens. Now, this is another division game, another rivalry. I didn't expect it to be this close, but I guess as division games do,
the Ravens always surprise.
I think they had a 3rd-string quarterback as well with Tyler Huntley, who in the end did lose them the game. In the last quarter with 12 minutes left, going for a QB sneak, and he's lost it. And was it Hubbard? I'm pretty sure it was Big Hubbard.
It wasn't in the last quarter. I think it was at like halftime, wasn't it?
No, it was 13, 14 minutes left in the last quarter.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it changed the game in the last quarter. I thought it was like halftime.
I'm fairly sure.
Would have been.
But yeah, Hubbard got it and took it like 98 yards.
That was absolutely insane.
6'4".
I loved it how he like was on the bench and he's just like oxygen mask on, like absolutely fucking dying.
And Mark Andrews for his chase down though fucking looked like a crazy animal.
Mad effort. Absolute mad effort. And then like I was watching it and I was like, is he going to get him? Like all the other guys with the Cincinnati players were running with Hubbard, and then Andrews comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, is someone going to block this dude?
He nearly got a block.
All of a sudden, someone,
they nearly gave up a block from behind, which would have been a penalty, and would have just.
Oh, imagine that.
The scene.
Imagine that.
But I guess, are you worried at all that it was this close for the Bengals? Obviously, the Burrow didn't throw any interceptions or anything, but
it's hard to prepare for games like this. 3rd-string quarterback, like mentally, you're obviously coming in, you're like, it should be a bit of a walk in the park. Whereas next week it'll be like, yeah, we are on, we're ready to go. So, yeah, look, I still think the Bengals are my pick still, but yeah, it's a bit concerning.
We'll move on to sadly the last game. The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Brad?
How about them Cowboys?
Sadly couldn't join us again this week. We'll get him for the Super Bowl, hopefully. Beat the Buccaneers. They kind of just demolished them. It was pretty embarrassing. Dak actually didn't throw an interception for once, which he had a run of, I think, 7 games in a row.
7 games in a row. Yep. 7 on the trot.
And he played really well. And Tony Pollard he's a jet too. But
absolute dog.
I guess what's wrong? The Buccaneers, first of all, like Brady didn't have any connection with Mike Evans. Like it just
at all.
At times, Mike Evans was just looked like he was running the wrong route. The only person he could consistently pass it to was Godwin. But they had no run game really. Like they had a couple of good runs from White, but I feel like
absolutely nothing.
If you got a quarterback like Brady or someone, and you can't get time in the pocket because they know that you're not going to run it, or they just always know you're going to pass it.
Just send everybody at him.
Yeah, it's just,
mate. He threw 66 passes.
Yeah,
he's got a 46-year-old shoulder. Like, fuck that. And you think back to like Pat McAfee and they were talking about it on their podcast or their show. I think they recorded it either yesterday or today. I can't remember. But like the way that Brady set his game up, like all those wins in the Super Bowl and everything, like you've got to have the run to be able to set up everything else. And they had absolutely nothing. Like Leonard Fournette ran five times for 11 yards.
Yeah, he's off a cliff.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can't,
considering his first game, he ran for like 130 yards or something ridiculous in the first game of the season.
And you can't do, like you said, you can't do play actions or anything. Like, there's no threat of a play action if you can't run the ball.
No.
But
the hard thing was too, like they were. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's all right.
Like the Bucks this year, like they obviously had a lot going on because they had. Who was it? Bruce Arians. It was their last.
Yeah, Bruce.
Their last coach stepped down. New coach comes in with hardly any time at all. Pretty much got handed his coaching staff. Couldn't do anything. Like they were pretty much doomed from the very beginning. Really, like he had no chance to come in and like do what he wanted. He was pretty much handed this team and just be like, do what you can. Good luck. Like that's. And to come out 8-9 and make the divisional round, get smacked, like next year, if Brady sticks around, they've got to do a few things, but like at least he'll be able to sort of stamp his own footprint on the team and do a bit more, hopefully. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But yeah, they did lose, obviously Gronk and all that, and they had other like offensive linemen and stuff, like Pro Bowl linemen retire.
Yeah, their center.
Yeah,
big
Jensen
big pieces
went down for like 3/4 of the year and came back for this game.
Evans got suspended for a couple of games as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So they had a very interrupted year, and then obviously Brady and his divorce and everything like that. Like, considering the like 8-9 with that much shit going on, it's not a bad result.
Just a quick yes or no. Do you reckon he plays? And do you reckon he stays at the Bucks?
I reckon he's got more chances of staying at the Bucks and going anywhere else. So I'll say he's staying there.
I agree. In saying that, the Cowboys did play well, but the Buccaneers defense looked like I was watching them at some stage. And I'm like, what is he covering? Like they weren't covering anything, and they were just letting him dump at 6 yards and then run another 10 meters after the catch. In saying that, you've got to give respect to the Cowboys. There was a couple of touchdowns that Prescott just walked in untouched.
Yeah. But you think what are the defense doing still?
I'm not a big fan of Prescott, but I had to say, like, hats off to him, but whether he can keep that up.
He played very, very good.
Do you think they're going to be a threat at all?
Well, it's hard because, like, what do you take away from the Bucks? Like, who did they play? It's like they didn't play anyone.
Yeah, they had the bye.
Like, just a bit of literally like a bit of a walk in the park. Like it's just how much do you take away from it? Like how good were the Cowboys or how bad were the Bucks? So I don't know. It's going to be a very, very different game. This week coming up. I can tell you that right now.
I feel bad for the kicker too. Do you reckon he's going to keep his job after this year?
Yeah, well, they've said he's staying on this week. So he's got it for at least one more week. Whereas next year, I don't know. But some of the kicks were like
there was a couple that were bad, but then there was one that I saw, and it looked like it was going through, and then it's just like a massive gust of winds just took it, and it's like I feel bad for kickers when unless I'm barracking for the team they're kicking against, like. I feel bad and you just saw his face like stone cold. And what some people liked, but I didn't really like, was Dak Prescott throwing his helmet, going off on the bench, saying, yelling, "Go for 2." And I just read a couple of comments, and it's like, you didn't see the kicker doing this when you were throwing interceptions all year.
Correct.
But it's not a good look, I guess, for the kicker if he goes back.
Just doesn't give the kicker much confidence when your captain and your quarterback's doing that.
And as a kicker, I think that's all it is really. It's all confidence based. It's all in your head
100%.
really. But
Literally.
hopefully it
Literally.
responds next week, and hopefully they keep him on, because you don't want to see someone's career just end because of one bad game like that. And they still won. Like they still won. We've got 8 minutes left, so we'll get into the preview of the next week's game.
Let's go.
Sunday morning, Jags Chiefs. Good game to wake up to.
Yep.
Two good
8:30
offenses.
AM. Yep.
But the Chiefs are very short favourites. I haven't actually got the odds up. I might get that up just quickly, but I'll let you discuss this quickly while I get this up.
I'm going to go the Jags.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. Are they the Bengals of this year?
Lawrence. Could be. I know, it's a massive call. Huge call.
So Kansas City are $1.20 favourites right now.
Yep.
That's, geez.
Yep.
Well,
going out on a limb.
I'm going to go the Chiefs, as much as I don't want them to win, because I just don't want the Chiefs. But we'll be watching this. We're all going to be home Sunday morning. This is going to be a good watch. It's going to be only
Hopefully
NFL
not
on the
hungover,
TV.
but we'll see what happens. But
we'll be hungover, but it's fine. We'll get up.
We will be, but we'll be fine. Exactly.
And then the next game, we'll go on maybe in more depth. Giants versus the Eagles. Now, this is a rivalry as well. Obviously, Eagles don't like the Giants much.
I will be watching this game.
12:15 on Sunday. Perfect day. Perfect time. Philadelphia Eagles $1.26 favourites. Now,
that's fucking rubbish.
Obviously they had the best record and they're the best team in the league for the year, or one of the best. I still don't trust them, and I don't believe, I haven't seen enough to trust them. Obviously they've got an unreal defense, and Jalen Hurts has had an unreal year, but until I see how they perform in a playoff game this year, I just don't know what to think. And I honestly,
and that's why I'm going the Giants.
I'm going the Giants too.
Let's fucking go.
Maybe we should buy maybe we should buy some NFL jerseys. You've already got one. You can't wear your Jets.
I've got one, but I can't wear my Jets one.
They won't be in the playoffs for years to come. So,
they should have been this year, but they fucking choked it.
Oh yeah, Zach Wilson's just should have just left. Should have left Mike White.
There's a bit of talk about Brady going there too, but I don't think he'll want to go there because it's a mile away from his family.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's fucking freezing cold.
Now this is probably even more interesting in a way. The next game, Monday, 7:00, Bengals versus the Bills. This is a fucking huge game. The Bills are $1.39 favourites, so that's pretty short for what I think is a relative toss-up game, because the Bengals have a good defense. Like Logan Wilson,
this is the game of the week.
Yeah, Logan Wilson is a stud. And obviously you got Burrow and Chase. I can't believe that they've got the Bengals at $3.10, is it? Oh, $3. Where do you stand on this game?
I should put a multi on this week because I'm going the Bengals.
Going all underdogs.
Yep. I love the Bengals, man. I think they're. I think if it's a shootout, they can actually go with the Bills. I reckon there's only two teams that can go with them. I reckon it's the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. That if it's a shootout, they're the only three teams who can go with each other. I don't think the Eagles have got enough. I don't think they've got enough firepower to.
And 49ers, because I think their defense would end up coming out on top.
But they've got enough weapons as well. But just in terms of their quarterback, I reckon those three quarterbacks have got a little bit more to give than the 49 than Brock Purdy. But you surprise everybody. You might surprise me.
Now, if you were to put a multi with just those three games on right now, with what you've said, the payout would be $52.23.
Is that the odds?
Yeah, the odds, not the the odds.
Holy moly!
So
okay, I'll be doing this.
I think I might
heard it here first on the Locker Room Pod.
If you go 4 for 4 this week, we'll do something special. Loaded. I'll do a forfeit next week if you go 4 for 4 this week.
Okay.
Whether it's eating raw eggs or whatever.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
I'll do it. Something that I could do on camera at least. But it's got to happen.
I was going to say, I'll take away all their toilet paper.
No, that's too far. That's too far. All right,
Yeah, so you don't know where to go either.
I'm happy with either team winning because the
So
Bills
am I.
obviously the good story with DeMar Hamlin and everything, but my heart I want the Bengals to make the Super Bowl again. I think it's going to go to overtime. That's my call for the game. It'll go to overtime. So, or McPherson game winner. I'm trusting in McPherson again. So he did this time last year. It's good enough for me.
Love it.
We'll move on to the last one. Cowboys 49ers, which is a big game. And I think it's like the closest odds game. So the Niners are at $1.50 and Cowboys are at $2.60. So
and so it should be, I reckon.
Yeah,
so it should be.
I thought Giants Eagles would be a bit closer.
So did I, but
I thought Bengals Bills would be closer. But where do you stand on this game?
I'm going with the 49ers just because of what I said before. I just can't take too much out of the Bucks game.
Yeah,
like I just don't think they played against a strong enough team to get a full look at what they're like. Obviously they've got enough, and if Dak plays that well again, yeah, they could do a lot. But yeah, I just can't take enough. Like if this was a horse race, you go off the form, like it'd be like a good horse going up against a fucking a maiden. Like it just wouldn't work, I think. So yeah, I'm sticking with the 49ers. Wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I just can't stick with the Cowboys after a pretty average Bucks team that they smacked up last week. So
like after watching last week's game, like you nearly go in with the thought that has given the Cowboys a false sense of security. Like they probably thinking, how well their offense worked because they got so open. It was so easy to throw the passes. That 49ers defense isn't going to allow many of those, if any, to be wide open.
Not at all.
I can't wait for you got Nick Bosa on one end, and then you got Sharpie's favorite man, Micah Parsons,
big Micah,
on the other end. So it's two defensive studs, and then you got Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense, and then you got Dak and Tony Pollard. So this is going to be a good game. I won't be able to watch it because I'll be at work, but I'm going the 49ers as well. I really don't want to see the Cowboys win because it will make me sad
who
if
likes
they win.
Who likes the Cowboys?
Brad does. Brad loves the Cowboys.
Of course he does.
So if you put that as a multi that you've got, Lachie, it's the odds are $77.31.
Done.
You can power play that to $100.
Holy hell. Let's go.
So it's going to be a big week. We'll either come back with some money or, a lot of money or no money. I don't think there's too much of an in-between. We'll see. I don't think I've won a single NFL same-game multi this year. But hopefully that changes this weekend because I haven't put many on. But thanks for joining us, Lachie.
Pleasure, mate. As always.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, remember this week.
Bye.